Hi, Tired Black Man here. This is actually my second time trying to record this video. The first time when I tried to record it, I used my handy dandy Sony Handycam, which is my camcorder that I use pretty frequently. I recorded the entire video on this, and I go into edit to only realize that the entire thing is out of focus. Here's a clip of it now. Hey, what's up? Black Man here, and today we're talking about Dragon Ball games. So yeah, that fucking sucked, and I can't really use that. So I'm here to do it again, and I'm very tired because it's currently 11:40 p.m. and I have work in the morning. I'm in the process of recording a video called The Best and Worst Dragon Ball Video Game Cover Arts, and because of that, I had to kind of try and get all my Dragon Ball games I own physically all together right here, as you can see. And I wanted to make a little video to kind of just talk about a few of them, well, a lot of them in this case, to give you guys my thoughts and how I feel about them, and I guess just overall, ramblings about them, because I don't really do that too often on the channel, and I want to try to build up enough videos to where I can have like a back catalog almost. So without further ado, let's get started. First game we have here is Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1 on the PS2, released back in 2002. This game is a childhood favorite for a lot of people. A lot of people on Twitter talk about it and say that the Raditz mission was the hardest thing ever when it actually wasn't. Yeah, like this game is the first for many things. This was the first game to be dubbed by Funimation. So this marks the first time we actually hear Sean Schemmel, Christopher Sabat, and the current Funimation cast in video game form, so that's really cool. It's the first ever game of the Budokai series, and yeah, it laid the foundation for the rest of the series and Dragon Ball games going forward from this point. If you didn't know, I actually made a retrospective for this game, a two-parter, about, I guess, 2 years ago at this point. So I guess if you want my in-depth thoughts of this game a bit more, then check out that video. But yeah, like, it's kind of rough gameplay-wise, but again, I think it still holds up pretty well. The story mode is actually my favorite of the Budokai series because in Budokai 2, they relied on the whole board game style, which I wasn't too much of a fan of. And Budokai 3, outside of, I guess, the semi-open world it had, I don't really like the presentation of that story, where we just had basically JPEGs and text boxes, and sometimes we would have, you know, actual, I guess, voice-acted lines from characters, but it wasn't anything that appeared that often. But in Budokai 1, they actually had cutscenes, and the cutscenes used these, like, 3D, like, candle wax aesthetic for their models, and it looked really nice. And if you played the HD collection, like, they looked even better there. But yeah, like, parts of the game hold up pretty well, parts don't. It's the first game of the series. It was a great foundation, and pretty solid title. Next thing we're talking about is Budokai 2. Yeah, this game is dog shit. I actually have a video I'm working on, which is a in-depth review of Budokai 2 that's coming out hopefully soon. Yeah, so Budokai 2, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to say that this has probably the rawest cover art of any Dragon Ball game. Like, it's... Hold on, like, we need to just take a second to appreciate how cool this looks. Like, come on now. Okay, so we have Vegito, Super Saiyan. We have, Goku doing the Spirit Bomb. We have Kid Buu in the back chilling. And we have Gotenks right here. And the case is holographic on top of that. Like, this shit just looks really cool. And like, really appealing to the eyes. I really wish that Dragon Ball games got more holographic covers, because I think any game that has a holographic cover just really stands out a lot more compared to other ones that don't. And the other positive thing I can mention is the fact that, fuck, this is hard. I appreciate that it tried to do something different with the story mode this time around, but the issue with the board game style is that after a while, it felt like padding. You know, it wasn't fun to play anymore. every stage you were in had maybe 10 to 20 fights per stage, and majority of those fights were you fighting either Cybermen or Cell Jr., all depending on where you were in the story. And like that just got really repetitive to me, and it wasn't fun. The gameplay was improved a lot in comparison to Budokai 1. Like, that much I can say was done right with Budokai 2. Canceling in this game was a lot easier to do compared to the first game, since the mechanics here are a lot more tight and a lot more, I guess, fleshed out compared to how they were in Budokai 1. The art style in this game actually shifted a bit, because where Budokai 1 focused on the more, I guess, like, that candle wax aesthetic, that's a hard word to fucking say, that candle wax aesthetic that Budokai 1 was kind of trying to focus on, this game goes for a more cel-shaded approach, which carries over into Budokai 3, and I guess the rest of the Budokai series from this point forward. That style, I think, is really nice and is really appealing to the eyes. Yeah, like, I'm not a fan of this game, you know. I talked about it more in my video, but I think this is one step up from Budokai 1, but then 2 steps back at the same time, if that makes any sense. It's not a great game, but it was a decent midpoint for the series, and I think Budokai 3 really improved upon everything that was in this game and more. Here we go, the Golden Child, Budokai 3. Yeah, this game is also dog shit. Yeah, let me stop. Calm down. Calm the fuck down. Budokai 3. This is a classic. This is some people's favorite Dragon Ball game ever made. I wouldn't go as far as to say that, but I really do think this game is awesome, and I appreciate that this game really had a crazy amount of replay value, because when you're playing the story mode, it unlocked secrets depending on how many times you play through it. I remember, like, I think maybe in the Namek arc, there was a place where you can go to and you just saw Cooler there, and I remember just seeing that as a kid and just being like, wow, like, what the fuck? Yo, like, that was awesome. And I really enjoyed, you know, just being able to like find all the secrets in the story mode. And the gameplay system here too was greatly improved from the last 2 games. Like, the main thing they added was the ability to teleport mid-combat, so you were able to, you know, like, do a combo on your opponent and then knock them away, and then you can teleport to kind of chase after them, and then you can knock them away from your teleportation, and then you can just juggle them across the fucking screen. Like, that shit was really cool to me. The worst thing about the gameplay, which I think is a pretty, I guess, popular opinion between the people who've played this game, is, I was gonna call it Dragon Rush. Is it Dragon Rush? Yeah, Dragon Rush, yeah. So, Dragon Rush is fucking stupid. And anyone who's played this game will agree with me on that. If not, then you're just insane. But Dragon Rush was basically this, like, rock, paper, scissors mechanic. That's kind of like what UT has, but not exactly. Where you had to kind of, like, guess the correct button prompt or whatever. And if you pick the one that... No, if you pick the same one as the CPU, I think you won, I believe. If not, then the CPU was able to just continue on their attack, and I hate games that kind of incorporate that kind of rock, paper, scissors chance kind of thing, because I feel like that takes away from all types of player agency, but that's just my opinion. Other than that, the gameplay in Budokai 3 is fucking great. It's probably, like, the best in the series. But yeah, like, Budokai 3, that's a childhood favorite. That's a game that I genuinely do have nostalgia for. Like, I remember having this... my older brother had this, and we played this a bunch when we were younger. And then I bought this copy maybe around 2007, 2008. This is the Greatest Hits edition. And there were 2 editions of this game. There was the normal one with the black label and the Greatest Hits one. The one with the black label has, I think either Goku or Gohan on the front, like, doing the that pose and he's in like a black void. Like that is one of the coolest cover arts of the Dragon Ball game too. Like I really like that whole like minimalistic thing it had going on. This cover is kind of crappy. I don't really like it. It has Goku and Vegeta like ready to charge at each other, and it has all this fucking brownish, reddish gradient effect, and I don't really like how that looks. I think it pales in comparison to the normal Budokai 3 cover. But again, that's just my opinion. Budokai 3, awesome fucking game. Here is Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 1. Yeah, this game came out in 2005, I believe, and this was the first, I think, 3D arena fighter for Dragon Ball games. Again, you know, similar to Budokai 1, this game is a foundation for the Tenkaichi series, and it's rough in a lot of ways, and I think it had a lot of cool ideas that were expanded upon in 2 and 3. There isn't anything in particular that stands out when I think about this game. The story mode, I think, goes up into maybe the Omega Shenron fight, probably? I'm pretty sure it gets that far. The gameplay is fine. It's kind of clunky. The camera is atrocious in this game, but again, you know, it's a product of its time. This was back in 2005, and this was the first time Dragon Ball really ever tried a 3D arena fighter, so I'll give it that. You know, it was a good first effort, but I think 2 and 3 vastly improve upon this game in every way. But now we got the big boy, Tenkaichi 2, which came out back in 2006. A lot of you watching this video probably weren't even born in 2006. My case has no color, because when I got it, this is the case they sold me, and I didn't really care at the time. This is probably hands down my favorite Tenkaichi game, mainly because of the story mode. Like, the story mode in this game is so massive. Like, even on the back it says it's 60 hours, and I definitely believe it. The story mode in Tenkaichi 2 covered basically every major fight in Z and more. Like, any fight that you can think of that happened in the show or in one of the movies is in the game. Yeah, the roster is really nice. Not as big as 3, obviously, but it's really good in its own right. The gameplay, the fucking, just everything about this game improved over Tenkaichi 1 in like every major degree. And also, the cover art, you know what, I'll actually have a better picture of the cover art like on screen somewhere, but take a second to look at the cover art. Like, this is just raw. Like it has future Trunks with the sword, and in the reflection you have Kid Goku and then Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Like, this is, it shows you like the timelines of Dragon Ball that it reaches to in the story, and you know, it has Trunks, and you can never go wrong with Trunks. We're going to take a little detour and talk about a not so beloved Dragon Ball game, which is Dragon Ball Z Sagas. The GameCube version, to be exact, because this is the best version of the game. The PS2 version doesn't really have that great of a resolution in comparison. Also, the textures are kind of muddy on the PS2 version too. I think visually, like, this is the best one in terms of how it looks and performance, because it runs like complete ass on PS2. But yeah, so Sagas was the first game to be developed by an American developer, and I believe it was the last one if you don't count the Legacy of Goku series. But yeah, this game is garbage, and anyone who's played this game will tell you that it's garbage, because yeah, it's a pretty cheaply made game. Here we have Super Dragon Ball Z, the Japanese version that I got from MomoCon earlier this year. Yeah, I haven't played much of it, but from what I've played, it's a pretty fun game. It's a more competitive fighter, and it actually has a pretty competitive scene from what I've found on YouTube and stuff. Yeah, why I have the Japanese version and not the American version? Well, this was the only one I saw in person, so I got it. And the cover art is really cool too. See if I can get a focus on this one. There you go, yeah. So I like it more than the American version because this one actually showcases some of the characters in the roster. Like, everyone you see on the case is playable in the game, and more. So yeah, Super Dragon Ball Z is a cool game. I like how they went for like a manga aesthetic with the character models. Like they're cel shaded in a way that really kind of reminds me of kind of like panels of the manga, if that makes sense. I'm not sure. I'm fucking tired. I can hardly speak right now. I don't ever see anyone really talk about Super Dragon Ball Z like that. It's a very underrated game that more people should honestly talk about and play if you haven't already. So now we got the big boy, the most expensive Dragon Ball game there is right now, at least like from this generation of consoles, Tenkaichi 3. Now, this game pisses me the fuck off, and it's not for the reasons you think. Like, it's a great game and all, but like, Jesus fucking Christ. Trying to buy a PS2 version of this game costs an arm and a fucking leg. I think when I checked last, the lowest price for the PS2 version, which is the version I wanted to get originally, was like $150. And I don't give a fuck what Dragon Ball game it is. I'm not paying that much for it. I don't care. Besides, like, the Wii version is superior in every way. Like, it looks better. It had online playability for the time. It doesn't have that now because the Wii servers are gone, but still, like, it had online playability for a bit. And you can have the option to play with motion controls if that's something you like to do. And honestly, they weren't even really that bad when I played with them. Yeah, you know, like, people count this as one of the best Dragon Ball games of all time. I don't blame them, you know, like, it's really awesome. Like, it has the giant character roster, the story mode's not too shabby. The World Tournament mode was pretty fun when I played it. Yeah, I mean, like, what can I really say about this game that hasn't already been said? You know, it's a fan favorite. Like, this is a game people grew up with and have fond memories about. I didn't grow up with this game. I grew up more with Tenkaichi 2 than I did 3. I didn't actually play 3 until, I think, 2017, probably, if I think about it. But yeah, it's really expensive if you're trying to find a PS2 copy. I was lucky enough to get the Wii version for, I think, what, 25 bucks at the time? I'm not sure if the price on the Wii versions have gone up or not, but I got this one for 25 at the time, and this was 5 years ago, so it probably has gone up for all I know. I do have to check on that again, probably. So now we're moving on to 2008. I guess the first thing we can talk about is Dragon Ball Z Infinite World. Infinite World came out the same year as Burst Limit, and Burst Limit was the newest Dragon Ball game for the next-gen consoles at the time. So this one was kind of forgotten about and left in the dust. It's basically Budokai 4. So for all the people out there who's asking for Budokai 4, here you go. This is it. This is Budokai 4. It's been around for the past, like, 14 years now. Here we have Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit, released in 2008. I think this was... I don't remember which came out first in the year, either Infinite World or this, but I'm pretty sure this came out first in the year. I didn't play this game until the past couple years, actually. I kind of went back and tried to buy all the Dragon Ball games that I didn't own as a kid, and the ones that I missed out on for whatever reason. And Burst Limit was definitely one of them. It had a weird, like, motion blur, like, during combat, which I think was kind of wonky, but besides that, like, this game is pretty cool. Yeah, like, I just wish we got more out of the Burst Limit stuff, because it was a great foundation, and I would have been interested to see what else they would have done afterwards. Next, we have Raging Blast 1. Again, you know, solid game, solid entry. Story mode is pretty average. I think it does its job. It doesn't do anything too amazing, but, you know, it does a good job explaining the Dragon Ball story, I feel like, if you're just getting into it from this game. The visuals in this game are really awesome. Like, they look really nice, even now. I prefer how they look in RB2, like, a tiny bit more, but they're pretty close for the most part. And yeah, guys, I mean, Spike did their shit with this game. This is the only time they attempted a story mode with the Raging Blast series, because 2 didn't really have a story. But hey, we're going to talk about 2 in a second. But before we get to RB2, I do want to talk about this little underrated classic. Some of you played it, some of you haven't. But this is Dragon Ball Revenge of King Piccolo for the Nintendo Wii. This game covers the first, I think, 3 or 4 story arcs of the OG Dragon Ball. So it starts at the Hunt for the Dragon Balls arc, and it goes all the way up to the fight with Demon King Piccolo, as you can tell in the title. Yeah, like, this game was really fun. It was really cool to get to experience the Dragon Ball story, the OG Dragon Ball story, like, in video game form. It's a part of the series that a lot of people surprisingly haven't experienced, and I don't get that. Like, how can you say that you know, like, you were hungry for content after Super, but you didn't even watch the original series? But that's just, you know, it's whatever. It's kind of crazy. I do want to try cover this game for a video one day more in detail, which I might do, because this game is really fun. And also the cover art is awesome for it too, if I haven't said that already. Hold on, let me focus up, focus up. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, like, it's so charming and whimsical, and it just captures everything the original Dragon Ball stood for. I need to reset that focus. I wonder how that sounds on the video. So yeah, we're going to 2010 with Raging Blast 2. This is one of my favorite games, like, ever. Like, there was a point in my life where I was probably in 4th grade when this game came out, and I would come home every day after school and just watch TV, do my homework, and then hop on RB2 and just play that all day until I had to go to sleep. I put so much time into this game, and that says a lot because it didn't even have a fucking story mode. It had, like, the gosh, I'm trying to think about what it's called. The Galaxy mode, I think it's called. Yeah, I think it's Galaxy mode. But Galaxy mode was like this like pseudo, I guess, arcade type of thing where you could go around and, like, do certain challenges to unlock characters and unlock Dragon Balls and, like, all of that stuff. And it's not great by any means, but it kept me entertained, at least. And this version in particular, if you can tell by the sticker, hold on, let me see if I can go in a little bit more. So as you can tell right here, there's a sticker that says only at Walmart, which is the place where I got this game from. The Walmart version of this game had exclusive Yamcha and Vegeta DLC. Vegeta had, like, this green and, like, blackish Saiyan armor, kind of like Bardock's, and, like, that was the I guess, pre-order bonus or whatever. I forgot what Yamcha had, but yeah, I can't remember what Yamcha had, like, in the bonus, but he had something. But I know for a fact that Vegeta had this weird looking armor that was kind of like Bardock's. This is the version with the Kenji Yamamoto music still intact. I remember when that whole scandal happened with Kenji, you know, the stolen music stuff. RB2 got impacted a lot, so there's a second version made where there was a version where there was the Kenji music intact, which was I guess the first set of copies that were released, and then there was a second set where the music was completely replaced with music from the Tenkaichi games, and that version isn't as fitting. I don't think the music placement really works in a lot of places, especially now with the opening. I don't think Battle of Omega's in that version. Yeah, it's not in that version. A lot of people do shit on it, but I don't care. Like, this is one of my favorite Dragon Ball games. Hell, like, it's one of my favorite games of all time. I really love RB2, and visually, I think it's still one of the best looking Dragon Ball games we've had, like, ever. Yeah. So that was back in 2010. Now, it's crazy, because 2010 was 12 years ago, people. Where the hell were you guys 12 years ago? Like, what? Like, not born yet? I don't... Let me stop. Like I'm talking like I'm not young. I'm in my 20s. Ultimate Tenkaichi! You know, people love this game, right? Yeah, it's bad. you know, it's not a great game. People know that. I could sit here and talk about how bad it is all day, but you guys already get the idea. I will I will give it its flowers though, because this was the first Dragon Ball game to really incorporate character customization, and I remember putting hours into that as a kid. I made so many characters. You could only make really 3, but I would always save over the older ones and create new ones and stuff. But this, you know, as hated as this game is, it did lay a foundation for Dragon Ball games in the future. It was a prime example of what not to do, but also it kind of inspired Xenoverse and all that other stuff to have character creation in a way. And I think for that, it deserves a little bit of respect, but still, fuck this game. Next game we got is Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z. Oh boy, what to say about this one? I remember at the time, this was a very hyped up Dragon Ball game, believe it or not. Because in 2011 we got UT, which was pretty critically panned all across the board. People did not like that game at all. Then 2012 we got 2 game releases, but they were basically filler. We got the Budokai HD collection, which kind of sucked in hindsight because it didn't include 2. But we got that, and then we also got Dragon Ball Z for Connect, which, I mean, it's Dragon Ball Z for Connect. Like, what can you really fucking expect? So we got those 2 games that year, and then I don't think we got a game at all for 2013. So we went basically 2 full years without a mainline Dragon Ball title. And then I remember this game got extra hype because the Battle of Gods was new at the time, and this was the first game to incorporate Beerus and Super Saiyan God Goku, and I think Whis too as well. But yeah, like this game was developed by ArtDink. ArtDink is a company that I don't really like. They are most widely known for A-Train, the Japanese video game on DS, all about locomotion, I guess. I don't fucking know. This game, I'm trying to remember just more things about it, but like it's a fucking blur to me. I don't like this cover art at all. Like, hold on, let me show you guys. Like, this shit is just so all over the place. Okay, so like I don't mind how we have Goku and Beerus in the background. Like, that's fine. But then we have Broly just... Wait, hold on. I'm trying to get to... We have Broly just fucking floating here, like, menacingly. And Trunks is up there, posted up, just posing that air. I don't know. Like, it's a really weird cover. I don't really like... This... I think this cover was done by Yamamura. Like, this looks like his style. Yeah, like, this game was a breaking point for a lot of Dragon Ball fans at the time because it was hyped up, like, beyond belief, and it came out and it was a piece of shit. People have had good times with this. I'm not one of those people. I played this for a video, I think, around 2016, and, yeah. I don't see myself playing this game again, to be honest. So we're down to the final 2 that I have physically, and these 2 are, well, pretty major. I guess I can start with the first one. Dragon Ball Xenoverse. It's... I mean... Where do I even start? Dragon Ball Xenoverse is nearly a decade old now. It came out back in 2015. And I don't say this to be dramatic. I don't say this to be over-exaggerative. But this game really had a huge impact on my life. From the people I've met, from the content I was able to make, and I have nothing but fond memories from the pre-release of Xenoverse 1, and even after it came out, I have nothing but good memories with the game. And I think for that alone, this game will always have a really special place in my heart. Like, I've made friends because of this game that I've cherished to this day. Now, all that to say, I don't think this game is amazing. I think it has a lot of problems. I don't particularly think the combat in this game is great. I think it's really wonky, especially in comparison to this fucking game, which we'll get to in a minute. The story mode at the time was pretty hyped up, pretty cool. Looking back on it, not really all too much. Not really all that. We were kind of advertised to be able to play in the alternate outcomes from, you know, the timeline fucking up, but we never really did. We always just kind of... We were always that insert character that was a part of these fights, and like that was basically it. We didn't really get to play any outcomes that we wished were different according to the fucking advertising campaign. Like, the trailer from Jump Festa is still in my head to this day. Like, it was so awesome. And just all the content people were making on this game. Like, this game is how I found Rhymestyle. It's how I found, you know, like, most of the people in that squad. You know, like, this game made a lot of people's careers. And for better or for worse, this is probably the most iconic and influential Dragon Ball game there is. And I will always respect it for that. Yeah, the Day 1 edition, man. Like, this is crazy. Next up, finally, we have Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. For a while, I joked about this game and called it Xenoverse 1.5, and at launch, it kind of was. You know what? This game is nearly 10 years old, too. Wow. Fuck. But yeah. Xenoverse 2, this game is still getting updates, still getting content constantly, to the annoyance of a lot of the fans who want Xenoverse 3 to just come out. But hey, I mean, like, this is like the most... I think this is like the best-selling Dragon Ball game right now. Like, I'm not sure if it's past Tenkaichi 3. No, it has passed Tenkaichi 3 at this point, right? It has to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like this is the highest selling DB game at the moment. Yeah, like this game, the combat system is really fun. It's a big improvement over Xenoverse 1. The story mode at the time was pretty much the same as Xenoverse 1, except it had Turles and Slug as inserts, which was, you know, kind of whatever. Overall, you know, it's a better package than Xenoverse 1. It's more refined, it's more clean, it's more, you know, fine-tuned, I guess. But yeah, like, eventually we'll get a Xenoverse 3 one day. If not, then, I guess in 2030 and going forward, we'll be having more Xenoverse DLC. Oh boy. So yeah, guys, this has been me rambling on for, I guess, 40 minutes about Dragon Ball games I own, talking about my experiences with them, talking about my thoughts about them. What do you guys think about some of the games I've talked about here? What games really stood out to you that you have experiences with? Let me know in the comment section. That'll be something really fun to read and to have a discussion about. But, yeah, I'm going to sleep, get work in the morning. I'm gonna go and get something to drink too, because I'm tired of talking. So, don't really know how I want to end off this video. So, bye!